Welcome back to Unmasked. I am your host, Shelly. It is Labor Day weekend, and I hope that everyone enjoys their Labor Day. But I felt it important still to do an episode this week, and kind of rounding out mental health in men. And this episode is more about men's friendships with other males and the impact on mental health. And so I'm just going to jump right in because I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm going to try to make this short and sweet. I'm going to try, but I'm from the South and I like to talk. Excuse me. So there was some research done in 2021 that revealed that 15% of men in America did not have close relationships or friendships with other males. And so that poses the question, and you may already know that as a man. You may already go, yeah, well, that makes sense. I don't know why you're surprised. I was a little surprised by that. Surprised in the fact that I know that men have other male friends. Like my husband gets together with his male friends twice a week. But it was more on the spectrum of, yeah, we get together as males. We get together with our bros, whatever. But we talk about politics. We talk about sports. We talk about business. We talk about work, whatever. And it's not about that close, heartfelt, trusting relationship that you can have that, us as women have with our friends. When we call, we have a problem, we call, we can cry on the phone with our girlfriends. We can, meet for coffee and we can go over all of life's ailments, with no shame. Men don't have that. And so why is that? Well, yes, you grow up with, you go through high school, you go into college and you're like, hey, I have some of my best friends that I met in college, and you keep in touch once or twice a year. And that's great. But, life changes. We're all aging. Life stressors come in the way. We're raising, you're raising a family. And, but the big thing is that men are stuck in a silo of masculinity. And that goes back to all my prior episodes where we talk about how society has, placed it on men to be strong, not weak, don't show weakness, don't cry, don't show emotions, don't be a wuss, whatever. And I feel like, yeah, you have the friends, but it's not really the support that you need. And maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe there may be a handful of you that are listening that can argue with me on that. And that's great. But again, most often it's like when you're experiencing a crisis, or when you're feeling like you're going through a moment of depression, or you're experiencing despair or whatever, you're not going to call or go meet up with a male friend of yours and show those true emotions of crying, of showing, that moment of vulnerability. You're not going to do that because most of the time men are scared to be vulnerable. They're scared to show that side of themselves because they're afraid they're going to be ridiculed, that they're going to be laughed at, that they're going to be, I've talked to a few men, and they were told, hey, don't be a bee, I'm not going to say the actual word, but, don't cry, don't be a little B word, man up. Or the simple comeback is, dude, that really sucks to hear. And then the relationship is just done. I mean, not the relationship, the conversation is just done at that point. So you feel like you're just kind of stuck. Like, okay, I reached out to this person. I'm trying to talk to somebody. I'm trying to depend on somebody that I can talk to, that I feel like I can talk to. And then you're just kind of shut down. So the other thing is research also shows, and I'm sure some of you will validate this, that men will depend more on the women in their life to be emotional with, like their wife, their sister, their mother. And, maybe there is a platonic friendship with women that they have that they can really trust a friend, a girlfriend. And and it's because women are we're the emotional lovers, and so we are the nurturers, but we allow men and allow women even to come to us and be honest and open and, show those feelings that they need to have. So, but let's be honest, as a society, we have placed this masculinity on men that, men are expected to be brave, and men are expected to not show any emotions. But what if we could change that? What if we can change that bravery into being heard and being seen and understanding who men are, who they are? Men should be allowed to be emotional. They should be allowed to cry. They should be allowed to say, hey, I need help, or I'm feeling despair, or I'm depressed, or I don't know what this is that I'm feeling, but I need somebody that I can talk to kind of get through this. And so how important is a close friendship for men? Well, mentally, it's you should be able to mentally rely on another man, to have that close male relationship, so that you can rely on somebody that you can go to and not be ashamed to show your emotions. Many men feel lonely. They feel like they're isolated, that more men are suffering with depression, like we've talked about in the last episode. A lot of our men are feeling suicidal, or they have attempted or have successfully committed suicide. And it just also shows not just on the emotional impact of lacking that friendship mentally, but also physically. So it affects your blood pressure. It can affect your blood pressure. It can increase your risk for diabetes. It can increase your risk for obesity. It also increases your risk for dementia. And so how do we build those close relationships? If you're a male and you're listening to me, then I'm going to tell you from, how you can go out and develop a close relationship with other men. One, it's not that, you're not comfortable in anybody should be comfortable in their sexuality to go and make friends with somebody. It doesn't matter what your sexuality is. But let's stop generalizing men to be, emotionless beings where, again, you can't cry, you can't show weakness, you can't show vulnerability, you can't have feelings, period. Let's just stop as a society normalizing that. And men listening, you're listening to this, stop believing that you have to be this statue person, just a statue, just a shell of a human where you don't have feelings and you're not allowed to have those feelings and you're not allowed to show those feelings. If your male friend is reaching out to you, if you have a male friend that's reaching out to you, and I know this is probably a big issue for a lot of males, but if you have a male friend who is reaching out to you and going, hey, dude, something's wrong, I need to talk to somebody, and you go and you sit down and you talk to your friend and he starts crying, that is going to be very uncomfortable for you if you're not used to that. That's understandable. We all, even me as a female, I get uncomfortable in those situations too. However, don't turn that off for them. Don't try to block that moment for them. Just you feel the discomfort, feel it out, whatever. That's not their problem that you're feeling discomfort, right? That's your problem. And not to be bad in a bad way. It's just your men are typically not used to showing those emotions and having to deal with those emotions from a buddy. So just feel those out, work through it, talk to that person, just let them know that you are actively listening to them, because that shows that you are an active friend, a true friend, and it doesn't matter that he's crying or that he's showing weakness. You're not up and running from the table. Be open and be open-minded and accept that your friend is crying or he's having an emotional outburst or whatever it may look like for him. You're uncomfortable. I get it. You get it. But just feel those emotions out, okay? The other thing is, you need to choose your friends wisely. We all should. But you want to choose people who are like you, that kind of have the same beliefs as you do, that you know that you can trust, that has integrity about themselves. You don't want to go out and make friends with a bunch of narcissistic people, because you are the people that you hang out with, and you don't want to turn into a narcissistic a-hole. So let's avoid those people if possible. But be looking for those people. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. It's going to take willingness on your part to go out and search for those people, whether what it looks like if you find them on social media, the workplace, whatever workplace is a good place to find those people. Some of my best friends I have worked with in the past. But, be with somebody who brings out the best part of you, who you feel comfortable with. And that is a hard thing to come by. And once you find it, hold on to it. Again, it helps your mental health to have close, engaging relationships with other males. You're a male. Males understand males. You understand, men understand each other. You understand that society wants you to be this masculine hero, whatever. But men can change the norm of that. Y'all can change the gender norm of what the expectations are for men when it comes to emotions and mental health and, XYZ. You both can help, or all of you can, men can help each other develop emotionally more healthy relationships with themselves, and with others when it comes to dealing with emotions and stresses of life in general. Reach out to your people. I know I did a call to action a couple of episodes back where I asked that you reach out to one male counterpart every day, at least once a day, at least every day, to check on them, to check in, say, hey, I'm here if you need to talk. But, reach out to your people, reach out to the men in your life, be supportive, actively listen, don't judge. And if through all that, if you are the person that's on the side of, okay, I'm depressed, I'm having weird feelings, I'm having suicidal ideations, first of all, if you're having suicidal ideations or homicidal ideations, you for sure need to go seek medical attention, medical help. But if you're still struggling, professional help is there. We've talked about that recently. There's online help. Go, maybe your PCP, your primary care doctor, or somebody, can help you. But there are people out there that can professionally help you if you're not comfortable reaching out to a friend, or you're concerned or scared or what have you, or you just don't feel like you've got anybody that you can trust. Trusting people is hard. But once you have those people, I think you will find that your life is a little bit easier to handle. So again, go unmask yourself and unmask those relationships with men that you trust. And next week's episode, it will be like a Q&A with a guest, a male guest. And I'm very grateful for him. He's going to be answering some questions. We're going to be talking back and forth about, mental health. And I want you to hear it from a man's point of view. I think it will be, very helpful for men to hear from men. So if you do have any questions or you have any suggestions about future shows or whatever, I do recommend that you reach out. My email is at the bottom. It is not unmasked with ED at the end. It's just unmasked health for my email. But, reach out. I do respond to emails. And I just want you to go about your weekend, the rest of your weekend, the rest of your next week, Labor Day, enjoy yourselves, but find you a buddy and make a new friend, somebody that you can trust. And let's just change the norm of men not being able to be emotional. And find those true people in your life that you can turn to when you do need to be emotional. And, stay bold. Again, stay bold, stay true to yourself. And I'll see you in the next episode.